So it's probably been a bit since you guys have seen the car like this, but here it is in all of its stock, boring glory. If you guys have been following the channel, I've been parting out this car. It used to be pretty modified, but now it's pretty much back to stock. The only thing remaining is the M Sport bumper, and that is honestly because I've been looking for some like the OEM shrouds and stuff that are supposed to go behind the original bumper. So before I swapped it out, I wanted to make sure I have everything. But otherwise, guys, everything on the car is off. Most of it's already sold at this point, with the exception of a few things. You guys can see I have the Apex wheels over there and the 340i exhaust. But yeah, otherwise, guys, this car is pretty much parted out. Exterior, performance, interior, and I actually did some additional stuff just because I've kind of been slacking on the car a bit. One of the things a lot of you guys have pointed out in a lot of my videos was the windshield. I actually had two pretty big cracks along the windshield, but I went ahead and got a new one just because when it does come time to sell this car, which isn't right away, but when it does come time, you know, I'm not gonna take some points off from having a cracked windshield. This should be fine for the next owner. Something else I need to do before selling it is also repairing all this curb rash on the OEM wheels. These were not for me, guys. I promise I'm not that bad of a driver, but the previous owner really abused these things. I think this is actually the best wheel out of all of them, but check this out, guys. That is really bad. Whoever comes to buy this car, they're probably gonna lowball me just because of these wheels and the windshield, which that one's at least done. But yeah, those wheels we definitely gotta fix. Again, guys, I'm not selling it right away, but I'm kind of just preparing it to be sold, because if someone comes through and gives me a good offer, I might sell it right now. But in the meantime, I'm enjoying driving this car because it is really good on gas. It is pretty comfortable-ish. Obviously, it's still on the H&R lowering springs, so it's not the most comfortable, but it's more comfortable than my G80 M3, and it's a lot less stressful to drive. That's the most important thing. It's a lot less stressful to drive. But like I said, if someone gives me a good offer, I'll definitely sell this car. It is a beautiful spec 330i in my opinion. If you didn't know, it is black sapphire metallic. And then on the inside, we do have the OEM red interior. I say OEM because a lot of people swap out the interiors for red. This one actually came with the red interior, which is pretty freaking awesome. But with all of that said, I wanted to talk to you guys today about just overall my thoughts about owning this 330i, because if you guys don't know, I bought this car about 2 years ago now. Almost actually exactly 2 years ago. I bought it when I had my 435 and my X3. And a lot of people thought, because I soon after that sold the 435, a lot of people thought that this car was supposed to replace the 435. That wasn't the case, guys. I bought this car to replace my Civic LX as my daily driver. So I didn't really downgrade as much as people thought I did. Now that you guys know the full context, you guys can actually see my G80 poking through the fence right there. I sold the 435. Not to get this car, I sold it to get the G80 M3. But anyways, the point is, I made a video talking about why I chose this car, a 330, instead of a 340. Me being a car guy, being someone who makes YouTube videos about cars and sort of uses them for like social media and marketing, all that type of stuff. 340i would obviously make more sense from just a car guy perspective, from a marketing perspective, but I obviously chose this car, and I explained why I did that. But a lot of people took that video very personally. Again, this is a pretty old video at this point, but a lot of people took it pretty personally, and they thought I was saying that the 330i is a better car than the 340i. And a lot of people got really upset in the comments, to say the least. Some people saying that I was going to regret my purchase of this 330i, that I'm eventually going to want to sell and get a 340. Well, let me just say this, guys. I've owned the car for 2 years. Not at any point that I feel like I should have gotten a 340. Not at any point that I feel like I wanted to change it to a 340, at least when I was owning it. Now that I'm going to be replacing it, maybe I'm considering about getting an M340. That's a different story. I've absolutely loved owning this car. Again, owned it for 2 years, and it served its purpose and then some. Again, I used this to replace my Civic LX as my daily driver. The Civic was a two-door. It was my first car I ever bought when I was much younger than I am right now, so I didn't care about a four-door. But obviously, ever since having kids, having a four-door just makes your life a lot easier. By the way, guys, quick side note, I finally detailed this car. It's been a long time, but having a kid, man, easy way to make your car filthy 24/7. But anyways, having a four-door was just, you know, ideal for having a kid. So my Civic wasn't going to do, I needed a four-door. Was I going to get a four-door Civic or an Accord, or was I going to get a car like this for about the same money and also utilize it on the channel. So more about using it on the channel in a bit, but let me just say, absolutely don't regret that decision, because this car has been great. It's been reliable. It gave me no issues. I think the only issue that it gave me was sort of like a stuttering, which I tried to fix with the ignition coils, but that didn't even fix it. I think it had something to do with the tune. So not really the car's fault. Otherwise, this car is really only known for one issue, a coolant leak, which BMW ended up doing like I'm like spacing on the word right now, a recall. They ended up doing a recall on it, so you can technically get it fixed for free from the dealership, but that never even happened to me. So overall, it's been a very reliable car. It's been great on gas. It saved me a lot of money on gas, and it's been a great family car. So from that perspective, the car did what exactly I needed it to do. Now the next thing, something that I didn't really expect, but something that was great about this car, was the perspective of it being on the channel and how much it helped out my channel. Now, I know this is the most exciting car, especially when you compare it to my G80 M3 over there, but believe it or not, guys, this car has made me more money than that G80 M3. Now, in the M3's defense, I've only owned that car for a few months, maybe about like 6 or 7 months or so. I've owned this car for 2 years, so this car had a lot more time to make me money as opposed to an M3. And to clarify, if you guys are a little confused by that, when I say make me money, again, I run YouTube as a business. These cars make me money through affiliate marketing, through you know, views on YouTube, Google AdSense, that type of stuff. So with that said, this 3 Series made me, I think, the most money out of any car on my channel. And I think it's because there's so many people who have these cars who relate to them, whereas like the M3, not a lot of people have G80 M3s. They're expensive cars. And then the other thing is, the parts for this car are a lot more reasonably priced than something like a G80 M3. Also, guys, there's just a lot more content to make about a BMW F30. There's so many things you can do. If you guys watch the build, which, by the way, if you haven't, I recently released the building an F30 in 10 minutes video, which basically consolidates every video, every mod that I did on this car, all in 10 minutes. So great way to catch up. But yeah, anyways, if you guys have been following the build, you'll know that I converted this car from the base model that it is, again, to an M Sport. And then we also did a whole bunch of mods. Unfortunately, on a G80 M3, I mean, you can add lips and stuff like that, but there's really not too much that you can do. The car is already amazing as it is, especially performance-wise. But again, a car like this, an F30, the mods and the content is almost endless, honestly. So yeah, from the perspective of this being a daily driver, I loved it. I don't regret it one bit. To all those of you who commented that getting a 330i was a bad decision, I completely disagree with you guys. Owned it 2 years. I think it was a great decision for me and my family. It's been a great car, very reliable, still pretty fun to drive, honestly, especially after the lowering springs, reducing that body roll with a tune, with an intake, making it sound a little better, so on and so forth. But you guys get the idea. And then on the other side, it's been a great car for my YouTube business, for me to make money, for me to feature on the channel, which honestly, I didn't really expect that much. Now look, guys, I don't want you to take this the wrong way. I don't just buy cars because I think they're gonna make me money or get me views. I buy cars because I love them, but also keeping in mind what's gonna be good for the channel and what's gonna help me afford the car. Hopefully that makes sense. I don't want you guys to think that I'm only into cars because of money, because trust me, there's not that much money involved. Even when I make money on YouTube, it's really not that much. I still have my full-on career, then I also have my real estate investments. So those are the things that really make me money. If I was in it for the views and the money, I'd be doing something else. I just love cars and I love BMWs. But anyways, I don't want this video to be too long, so I will stop talking. But anyways, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully this clarifies a few things and hopefully gives you a little more perspective about the BMW 330i if you're thinking about getting one yourself. But with that said, this video is pretty much done. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.